Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who don't know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a genuine investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at MMTLP and an update on the class action against Nexbridge Hydrocarbons for $8 a share, and also an update on damages. We're also going to be looking at ticker symbol SMCI. There has been news with regard to the auditors. I'm going to be asking the question, will they still be at risk of delisting? And we're also going to be looking at ticker symbol TSLA shortly. So before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first of all, from Market Watch, we can see that market looks strong and Wall Street is wrong about that lost decade for stocks. The business cycle and company earnings are in better shape than potentially expected. And from Yahoo Finance, we can see that Wall Street strategists are not relying on the AI drive to the stock market in terms of the rally continuing. There are other factors, and especially earnings as well, driving the markets forward. What we can see here in terms of earnings, again, a big week for earnings. I think the biggest stock for earnings is Nvidia. Close of market on Wednesday. We're also going to be looking at Neo, Target, Zim and Palo Alto in the Discord, and a couple of let's now move on to have a look at Tesla. So there was news here in terms of Trump, and what the Trump team stated is that they're looking to ease the rules for self-driving cars. So Tesla were going to benefit from this. We have a look at the share price for Tesla, again at time of editing, up 5.6% in the previous day at $338.74. So good news for everybody keeping hold of Tesla. Two of the stocks that I'd like to share with you from the Discord that we're looking at also from a dip alert. We do share regularly stocks that are dipped quite significantly. The first one is IONQ, again a significant 20.4.9% dip there, so we're keeping an eye on that one. Uber was also down 7%, again in response to the Tesla news. So again, Uber is another stock that we will be watching. Let's now look at ticker symbol SMCI, also known as Supermicro Computer. This is a stock that has been featured on a number of occasions on the channel. So this is also a stock that was added to our weekly watch list, where we stated it is a high risk play. It goes up quite significantly, comes down quite significantly, so extremely volatile. But there was news expected, as I stated in the weekly watch list, in terms of delisting from NASDAQ. There's also news shared in the live trading channel, and we stated here that SMCI has announced an immediate appointment of BDO USA as its independent auditor and the submission of its compliance plan to the NASDAQ, and SMCI went straight up in the pre-market. So we can see here it went up, in the post-market as well, but we can see here at time of editing it's up close to 29%. And trading at $21.54 at close of play, but also hitting over $30 in the pre-market today. So let's have a look at the news. So press release here from 18th of November 2024, Supermicro Computer announces appointment of BDO USA as the independent auditor and filing of compliance plan with NASDAQ. So this is great news, and what we can see here that this news has led to the company stock being coming back in terms of the momentum, being much more bullish. It's one of those stocks right now in terms of how it's playing out. I think it has to be traded with care, and it also has to be one where you protect your profits. But let's have a look at the long-term chart, and we'll have a look at that huge green candle here. As soon as that news broke, it hit in excess of $30. So once we get more developments on this, I do expect a lot more volatility. So have a look at an update on the class action against Nexbridge Hydrocarbons and a new calculation for potential damages. So in the United States District Court for the Northern District of Texas, we can see here Todd Taggart, the plaintiff, and a few other plaintiffs versus Nexbridge Hydrocarbons, including Greg McCabe, Clifton DeBose, John Berder, etc. And they state here this is a plaintiff's opposition to motion to dismiss filed by the defendants, which are Nexbridge Hydrocarbons. And let's have a look at the key updates. So in the table of contents, we can see here, first of all, introduction, statement of facts, the legal standard, argument, and then conclusion. So we're just going to pick out some of the important things here. So from the introduction here, we can see what the defendants have stated is that from their point of view, they are saying that the defendants violated securities law by filing a false and misleading registration statement with the SEC. This was led by Nextbridge Hydrocarbons and its founder and controller Greg McCabe to take their position that the plaintiff's case should be dismissed because the shareholders did not suffer any damages. So this was also reported in the previous update, and the registration statement stated that the oil and gas assets were worth $47 million ONG assets. So the investors who bought on this representation paid upwards of $10 per share before the spin-off, and investors are in no way in the same economic position today as they were before the false and misleading filing, we should say allegedly. And if we move on here in terms of the section on damages, and what it states here is under the section damages, the plaintiffs received shares in Nextbridge Hydrocarbons and believing that they owned interest in oil and gas assets worth over $47 million. They are saying this has now turned out to be false, and they are saying that the oil and gas assets were in fact worth zero. The difference in value equates to the plaintiff's damages, and it can be measured in several different ways. So they're using this calculation from $47 million to zero, and using this as a basis of their calculation, including but not limited to a change in the book value on Nextbridge Hydrocarbons balance sheet. So they're saying here, compare the value showing $79.7 million decrease in book value at the time of the restatement, and then identifying MMTLP stock sales made by the defendants Berda and McCabe prior to the spin-off at prices of $2.90, or should we say between $2.90 and between $11.65 per share. So if we have a look at the additional point that I'm highlighting here, they're saying that Nextbridge Hydrocarbons was worth materially less value than the spin-off than the defendants represented, namely due to misrepresentation of the oil and gas assets. And they argue that the plaintiffs have no recoverable losses because they did not pay anything for the Nextbridge Hydrocarbons. So they are Nextbridge Hydrocarbons shares, and they're basically saying the defendants are wrong, i.e. Nextbridge Hydrocarbons are wrong to state this, and the plaintiffs are saying they paid for the Nextbridge Hydrocarbons shares by buying Metamaterials preferred stock, i.e. MMTLP, while it was trading on the OTC under MMTLP. Taggart spent $35,000 on shares, Martinez spent $33,000 on share, and then there's another person called Lehman who purchased thousands of dollars of shares through TRCH. And they're saying in both scenarios, plaintiff paid for shares that were then converted into the preferred stock. And then finally, if we move on to the conclusion, they're saying here the defendants tried to shift the blame on Metamaterials executives, and the conclusion is they are respectfully requesting the defendant's motion be denied in its entirety for the reasons set forth above. So let's see how this plays out. This is the latest update, and I think in terms of what the judge is saying, it will be important for him to look at these arguments. And I think as far as the Nextbridge Hydrocarbons are concerned, I think from their point of view, this is something certainly they do not need at this time. I think it's a significant distraction. I think a potential change in the government going forward could give us more positive news. I know that's not something that we expect in terms of something happening immediately. The news with regard to DJT and obviously the impact on that company with the short attack. I think there's a potential positive outcome here going forward with the new government, especially with Vance in post as well. So we'll have to see how this plays out. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.